Namaskar. Welcome to Conversations with Rakesh. Here's today's question. Rakesh sir, you talk a lot about the fear of speaking in front of people. I've read about glossophobia. But could you tell me some reasons why we are all so afraid of communication? I must tell you that I was in my um, middle daughter's annual function one day, and she was a tiny kid at that time. And I was observing all the children that day. There was a stage, and the children were absolutely having a great time. They were like 3, 4 year old kids, some 5, and they were least bothered about the world. They took the mic and started to sing. They were all over the place. But what struck me was that they were not afraid of communication or standing up in front of people or expressing themselves. So I took this question because somewhere after age 5, unless you have a disability because of which you can't communicate, or there could be some serious psychopathic issues because of which you don't want to communicate, I think our ability to communicate takes a beating. And in this video, I'd like to give you 5 reasons why we hesitate and are afraid to communicate. Because deep inside, I know that communication is a very foundational topic that we come on this planet with. There is a need to express ourselves. There's a need to talk to people. There's a need to bond with people. There's a need to get work done. And communication and behavior are the central pillars that make us do all of that. Plus, communication becomes a heart and soul of how we think about ourselves and our confidence, our self-esteem, and it takes us forward in our life. It connects to leadership. So it's important for us to understand that what are those reasons that cause us not to communicate, and fear is a very big reason. So in this video, there are 5 reasons why we are afraid of communication. The first one is the power structures that we are brought up with. We teach our children that बड़ों के सामने मत बोलो. Very common in our country, many other countries where there are these power structures and high context cultures where seniority as compared to age and power are drilled into the way we are living. I remember children are told कि बड़ों के सामने मत बोलो, चुप रहो. And if a child speaks up their views in front of a group of people, some old uncle aunt would say कि behave your age, तुम बच्चे हो, बच्चों वाली चीज़ें करो, ये बड़ों पे रहने दो. So the power structures cause us lot of intimidation, because of which we are afraid to speak up. And when we go to a college and then come to a corporate world and then move up the corporate world, these power structures continue to daunt us and inhibit our communication. So when there's a meeting, boss बैठा होगा, client बैठा होगा, many of us are afraid to speak up because बचपन में बोला गया था कि बड़ों के सामने चुप रहो. So the power structures cause the first level of fear which causes us not to communicate. The second, this connects with our identity and also certain complexes that are there within us. Very complex subject. I'll give you 2, 3 examples. I've seen this in many of my classes. One could be the social structures we come in. And in social structures, our identity play a very important role. Many times I've seen that कि because कई लड़कियों को बोला जाता है कि तुम ज़्यादा बात मत करो, and they feel very inhibited because of that. कई लड़कों को बोला जाता है कि तुम बात मत करो उन लोगों के सामने. So there is an identity and social structure that causes that inhibition, which can manifest into some more issues, which broadly I will call as inferiority complex. Inferiority complex is I am not capable as compared to the others around me. So they are superior, I am inferior for whatever reason. And the most common in various areas where I work in is the language, भाषा. कि मेरी इंग्लिश अच्छी नहीं है, मैं इस स्कूल से नहीं हूँ, मैं इस मीडियम का नहीं हूँ. आई हैव सीन माई स्टूडेंट समटाइम्स से कि आई एम फ्रॉम tier 4 सिटी. आई डोंट नो व्हाट दैट मीन्स. And all of that kind of hints that you are from a background where you feel inferior about yourself in front of others, which causes you to be scared of communication. So inferiority complex can come from your background, your gender, your language speaking skills, your capability, lack of confidence about who you are, and general sense of identity and self-esteem. But because of that, we feel ki yaar, I'm not good enough as compared to these people. I've seen that in even enlightened places where there are these highly erudite people, but within them also, some people feel कि इनके सामने मैं कैसे बोलूँगा. So you feel inferior as compared to that. And those can cause fear of communication. So that is the second point. The third point, this has become a very big part in youngsters. And it's also there in older people, but it's just that earlier it was not discussed, but because of social media, the youngsters are discussing it very openly, and it's called social anxiety. It is the fear of being misjudged or misunderstood. One of the most common things we don't like people judging is our intelligence. And job interviews and many other places, we are judged based on our answers, and sometimes we're not given that job or position. तो हम लोग बहुत we feel very scared कि यार this person is judging me और मैं कहीं बुद्धू ना बन जाऊँ उनके सामने. I should not behave as if or talk as if they feel I'm stupid. And it's not just that, it could be multiple things. There are groups of people. Teenagers are misjudged in that group of people, so they may be, you might say something and the other person may not understand it properly, but because of that, they may misjudge you and stereotype you, and we don't like it. And because of that, people don't speak. So they stay quiet, they're observing, पर बात नहीं करेंगे. Because there is a high level of being misunderstood, misjudged, and this phenomena is now called social anxiety disorder, which is very high in teenagers because of social media. They're all trying to fit in, they're not able to, and if they're not able to fit in, they feel that people are not able to understand me, and that's where they keep quiet and they become isolated. So that is a third area which is very common, being misjudged or being misunderstood, that because of which people don't speak. The fourth, सेंस ऑफ रिजेक्शन कि मैं कुछ बोलूँगा, कुछ मांगूंगा और मिलेगा नहीं. एंड दिस फीलिंग ऑफ गेटिंग नो is very hard on us. And many times in the professional world, corporate world, we have to ask. I mean, there's this video I did and there was a quotation I used in that video कि भाई अगर मांगोगे नहीं तो दूसरे को कैसे पता पड़ेगा कि क्या चाहिए. And this comes in various corporates and customers, and I am a entrepreneur. If I don't ask for money from someone, उसको क्या पता पड़ेगा? So I ask and they say no, and you have to go through that rejection. It's very painful, and we are not trained to handle rejections. We don't like listening to no. We always want to listen to yes, because हमारा सारा system is to win. Exam भी करो तो अच्छे marks लाओ. तो हम लोगों का जो ability to deal with failures is very very low, because of which we are not able to communicate. Because when we are in a meeting room and we have to say I need this, and the other person says no, I will not give it to you, that sense of rejection plus the humiliation is very difficult for many of us to go through. So the fourth reason why we are scared of communication is that we are afraid that हमें rejection मिलेगा, बेइज्जती हो जाएगी, and we then take it on ourselves, and it's not a very good feeling. So we just keep quiet, which is a loss. And the last one, the most commonly seen, at least in the corporate managerial level and above, that we said something and we were penalized and punished because of that. So many times people बोलती है कि यार चुप रहो वरना हमें ही मार पड़ेगी. Also it has translated into apathy कि मैं कुछ भी बोलूँगा होगा तो नहीं, तो इसलिए बोलो ही मत. So this fifth reason why we are scared to communicate is that we are afraid कि हमें ही मारा जाएगा, हमें ही punishment मिलेगी, I'll become the messenger and we'll shoot the messenger. And sometimes this also other feeling कि मैं बोलूँगा भी तो कोई सुनेगा नहीं. The power structures are so complicated कि कोई मेरी बात सुनता नहीं है, so चुपचाप बैठे रहो, क्या करना, and we hesitate to communicate, which is very wrong. I think the whole idea of democracy is that your voice matters and we have to try harder, we have to convince, and it's not a pretty process. Not everybody will wake up कि आज मैं कुछ बोलूँगा और Shark Tank पे $1 billion मिल जाएंगे. So there is a process to learn, to practice, to articulate, but it comes from your ability to communicate. So let me summarize these 5 reasons why we are scared of communication. The first, we are scared of the power structures कि बड़ों के सामने मत बोलो, CEO के सामने मत बोलो, boss के सामने मत बोलो. So it comes from that. Teacher के सामने मत बोलो. Second, the other reason that we hesitate and are scared of communication is that we feel inferior कि मुझे इंग्लिश अच्छी नहीं आती है, मैं शायद किसी छोटे से गांव ताल्लुक का हूँ और ये बड़े बड़े लोग हैं, what am I doing in this room? So we feel inferior as compared to them, and this is where our identities also play a very important role. The third, we are scared of people misjudging us and misinterpreting what we are saying, which humiliates us. अच्छा नहीं लगता हमको. It's called social anxiety. The fourth is we don't like rejection. मैंने कुछ बोला, I said something, कुछ मांगा, वहाँ से ना आ गया, तो we feel bad, तो हम लोग चुप हो जाते हैं, मांगते ही नहीं हैं, बात ही नहीं करते हैं. And the final, we feel that because I said something, I got punished, reprimanded, or I said something and nothing happened. So क्या फ़ायदा बोलने का? So all of these reasons make us become afraid or apathetic towards communication. You know, I want to end this video with a very simple sentence to all of you. Fear and issues come in our day-to-day lives. We hesitate to communicate. We are scared of communication. But I must tell you, there is no miracle out there waiting for you. You have to have a choice कि अगर मैं बोलता हूँ तो हो सकता है रिजेक्शन हो जाए, मार भी पड़े, whatever. That's a different path. But that is probably your own mind playing games. That's the fear of the unknown. Choice is in your hands. Ki at least I have a mouth, a power to express myself. Let me apply the science of communication and say something which I feel will help others and help me. Make that choice. डर लगता है. There is plenty of research available that the world's best leaders are also afraid of speaking. But they make a choice. And that choice is in your hands. So don't let go of that choice. And there is no course, no book in this world which will help you do that. You have to do it yourself. So make that choice, empower yourself, learn to deal with these fears, overcome those fears, practice it, talk to some mentors, come to our programs and we'll help you. And I'm sure that this whole thing will help you become a little bit more aware of your fears, that how your fears are manifesting and you can deal with them. And with the right approach, you can make that choice, become a more impactful communicator, and make a positive impact to people around you. So on that note, speak. Speak well. Speak so that somebody's life is improved and your life is improved. And this is how the world becomes a better place. On that note, stay safe.